Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Orson Welles was a great creative genius, but he didn't manage money very well. And because of that, he did a lot of things. He did a series called The Black Museum, and we'll try to get copies of that for you somewhere along the line here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But he did this series for Harry Alan Towers, and this is one of the people that did The Black Museum. And this show, based on the character Harry Lime in The Third Man, this is the prequel to The Third Man, The Lives of Harry Lime. This episode goes back to February 22nd, 1952, and it's in the bag.
Presenting Orson Welles as The Third Man. The Lives of Harry Lime. The fabulous stories of the immortal character, originally created in the motion picture The Third Man, with zither music by Anton Karas.
Hello. This is your old friend, Harry Lime. I've got a story for you. It all happened on a train going through the Balkans from Istanbul to Belgrade. Oh, there's a mysterious veiled woman in it, naturally. And the whole thing ends up with me losing a suitcase full of money and getting a medal for doing it.
And now Orson Welles as Harry Lime, The Third Man. In today's story, It's in the Bag.
The Orient Express, the central line that is, runs between Istanbul and Paris. I wanted as much mileage between me and Turkey as possible, so I had my ticket booked all the way. Orient Express was one of those famous trains like the Scottish Flyer, the Chief, the 20th Century, the Blue Train, the Trans-Siberian. In the bad old days before the war, the Orient Express, particularly as far as Athens, could be relied on to provide a better cross-section of weird animals than a traveling circus. It was the kind of arena where you found bearskin hats and velvet collars, beards like cowcatchers, and mustachios as big as ox horns, and, of course, always the mysterious veiled ladies that turned the Balkan evenings into Arabian Nights. Now, in the bad new days, the traveling companions you're likely to find yourself with are rarely more than faces to break the monotony of the landscape. Take my own neighbor, a little Greek in a suit that looked as if it had been clipped out of a comic strip. His face, if you could call it a face, was just something that grew a few inches north of his neck. The only feature to indicate which side was front was a pair of eyes that looked like black currants swimming in lemon juice. Altogether, not the prettiest traveling companion I could have chosen, and a personality about as charming as a wad of yesterday's chewing gum.
You will be going in to dine, monsieur?
No, what's that?
I ask monsieur if he is eating food on the train.
Yes, I suppose so, yeah.
Ah, pity. Or rather, perhaps I should say a mistake.
No?
I have a sister-in-law, monsieur, a woman of great force of character, well married, and full of years. And she died on this train.
Oh, yeah?
My sister-in-law ate one of the meals on this train.
What happened to her?
She is dead.
Poisoned?
No, she fell off an excursion steamer in the Bosphorus and was drowned.
Well, what's her eating on this train got to do with it?
She contracted the heartburn, monsieur. This is a dreadful complaint. It afflicts the outlook on life, you understand? To suffer the indigestion is to live in constant danger of despair. And we must never despair, must we, monsieur? We must always remember that the life is good.
That's right. Now, if you'll excuse me, please, I'm hungry, sir.
My sister-in-law ate on this train.
Look, old man, it's all intensely interesting, but I really must go now. I won't get a table.
One moment, monsieur. By the way, my name is Stathakopoulos. I have here a sausage.
Good for you, Mr. Stathakopoulos, but please don't start telling me the life story of the sausage. I haven't time.
I have here also several portions of fried fish,
Yes,
bread,
yes, sir.
a couple of onions, as you can see, and a
Yes,
bottle
sir.
of Greek wine.
Notice the onions.
Very sweet but strong, monsieur.
Good for
I
you.
implore you to remember the faith of my sister-in-law and to join me in this so wholesome repast.
Well, really, old man, that's very nice of you, but as...
Please, gentlemen, the
yes.
tables are all full in the dining
tables
car
are full.
for the first seating. Shall I reserve for you a place for the second?
When will that be?
Oh, not more than an hour, sir.
Oh, thank you so much, but
hour.
no, we are making our meal here.
Very good.
Oh, no, but
Oh,
look.
we will have what the English call the picnic. It is really very chic and gay.
Yes, well,
Please, monsieur,
onions
you will
are
be
very
doing me
chic.
the favor of your conversation.
Well-
just to begin, have a piece of salami.
Luckily, as Mr. Staphylopoulos had promised, the wine of his country, although tasting a little like concentrated extract of candy store with a bit of cough medicine thrown in, had the kick of the proverbial army mule. I took very little, and he took quite a lot, and pretty soon, Greece's most relentless conversationalist was beginning to slow up.
Oh, you're a wonderful fellow, Mr. Lime. That's
yeah.
what you said your name is.
Call me Harry, and if you feel like it, old man, we'll turn out the light now and you can go to sleep. Want to try to get some sleep?
No. Oh, no. I do not care to sleep. No, thank you, Mr. Lime.
Oh, that's all right.
No, indeed. I do not think I do not trust you, but all the same, I will not sleep.
Oh, what's trusting me got to do with it?
But I do trust you, Harry. I trust you implicitly.
That's all right. Salami. That's quite all right. Yeah.
You're very kind, Harry. I like you, but I have the hiccups.
Take some more wine. That'll cure you.
An excellent idea.
Finish it up, old man. It's yours.
Oh, well, if you insist, just a tiny drop. Well, chin. Oh, chin. Excuse it, please. Now the wine is finished. We will talk.
Well, if you don't mind, old man, I think I'll just turn off the light and try to catch up a little shut-eye.
Oh, the light? No. You must not do that. No, the light
that's all
must
right.
remain on.
Oh, but why?
If you turn off the light, it is dark.
And you're scared of the dark?
The dark? No. But when it is dark, the caps of my eyes close, and who knows, with the caps shut, I might go to sleep.
Do you a world of good, old man.
Tell me the truth, Harry. If you have $10,000 in your pocket, will you go to sleep?
I've got more than that.
More? More than $10,000?
A whole lot more. Doesn't keep me from sleeping.
How much more?
$100,000.
$100,000?
Dollars, that's right. Well, thanks for the picnic, old man, and be sure to wake me up when we get to Belgrade. Good night. I pretended to go to sleep, and my grubby little friend, after picking his nails nervously with the broken blade of a penknife, settled down to watch me closely. I observed all of this out of the corner of one slightly opened eye and went on with a lot of fake snores for his benefit, praying all the time that the wine would finally be too much for him and he'd nod off. But not a hope of that. No, he was going to stay awake if it killed him. I could have killed him out of sheer exasperation.
Harry, wake up.
Yes, what is it?
We pretty soon be at the border.
Will we?
And then what will you say to the customs officials about that money?
I'm not going to say anything.
That is clever of you.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not going to say anything either. They very seldom search one's pockets, and I think we will be safe.
Sure, we'll be safe.
Forgive me for waking you up,
Oh,
Harry,
it's all right.
But I'm nervous.
You mean you aren't used to carrying all that dough?
That's right. I keep everything else in the bank. But this, I have made on perhaps I should not tell you. But then I could see you a regular fellow.
Sure, regular
I
fellow.
made
How'd you make it?
what you say, a killing in the black market. And the authorities...
Don't worry, old man. Any little secret like that is safe with me.
You mean you too are in the black market?
Oh, no, that's not my racket. I'm in the counterfeit racket.
Counterfeit?
Well, you know how it is, old man. We all got to do our little bit to help old Europe get on her feet again. Everybody's short of money, so print some more, and everybody's happy, huh? Look at this one. Did you ever see a more beautiful job? Huh? Now, here, compare it with a government job. Wretched paper, smudged printing, shocking watermarks. The Yugoslav Mint ought to be ashamed of itself. Now, look at mine. It's a work of art. Trying to make you feel proud. Everybody prefers it to the official brand.
I'm not surprised.
So, with some underground assistance from another bottle of the local hooch, I allowed myself to be drawn into a business deal, $50,000 worth of nice, crisp Yugoslav banknotes to be sold to Mr. Stathopoulos at 25% of face value if, and that's a mighty big if my partner in Belgrade would agree to it.
But, Harry, why should he not?
Because he's got his own clients, old man, waiting for the whole thing, don't you see? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. At the next stop, I'll get out and phone Belgrade. If my partner says okay, it's a deal. When the train pulled into the next whistle stop, I made like a bird for the station master's office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll get the number for you immediately.
From where I sat by the window, I could see my little Greek watching me from the train compartment. I gave him the old OK sign, and he produced a grin that looked as if his teeth hurt him.
Oh, here is your call, sir.
Thanks. Hello, Border Police? Border Police? This is a tip, and don't ask me who I am. There's a counterfeiter in the compartment 25 of the Orient Express. I can't tell you his name. I'll just give you the compartment. Number 25. He's carrying $100,000 worth of forged banknotes.
Co się dzieje, proszę Państwa? Nikt nie rozumie, wszyscy krzyczą, nie wiadomo... Treno, forte, subito, facciamo presto, altrimenti lo perdiamo. Andiamo subito.
Oh, Harry, I thought the train had left you behind.
Don't worry, your pretty little head. Harry never gets left far behind.
Then everything is all right?
It's in the bag.
The what?
The bag. Bring out the cash and we'll swap. It's okay with my partner, but I've got to get off at the next stop and meet another client. Let's hustle.
All right, Harry. Shall I count it out?
Don't bother. Just put it down over here on the seat, and I'll count it. Count my stuff at the same time.
Right.
All right, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. That's $1,000. What's that?
Police, all my money.
What's that cop saying?
He's saying hands up and do not touch that counterfeit money.
It's not mine, I tell you. It is not
You
mine.
don't have to shout at me. I'm not touching it anyway.
It's his, I tell you. It's all his.
Is that true?
Well, a man in a raincoat and a black hat gave it to me at the last
So
stop.
the money does not belong to this gentleman.
That's right. It's not mine. I am an honest businessman.
Now, wait a minute.
I don't deal in false currency. I'm a Greek subject. I insist on my constitutional
Shut
right.
up! You won't be troubled,
Yes, sir.
We will pick up all this money and have it investigated. And if the American gentleman will come with us quietly, we will not have to hold up the train any longer.
That's right. Arrest him, the gangster, the racketeer, the counterfeiter.
Shut up!
Yes, sir.
No need for the handcuffs, officer. I'm coming quietly. When the jail door shut behind me, I gave 1 minute's silence to the memory of a certain little Greek salesman who must have discovered by now that he'd talked himself out of $10,000. And so to bed.
What did they say? 3 hots and a cot. The Lives of Harry Lime. February 22nd, 1952. He's in jail for a while. We'll get more here in a moment on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. So in this episode of The Lives of Harry Lime's discovering life in the Gray Bar Motel. This episode from February 22nd, 1952. It's in the bag.
And now Orson Welles as Harry Lime, the third man. In today's story, It's in the Bag.
Came the dawn, Came also the sweet scent of cabbage soup and black bread.
My dear Mr. Lime, 1,000 pardons.
Good morning.
Good morning. As chief of police, I regret so deeply the deplorable mistake of our silly border
Oh,
guard.
don't worry, old man. The regrets are all mine.
Ah, you joke. How nice. The Americans, always the well-known sense of humor.
Yes,
The money,
for a
too.
gag, yes.
There was no doubt of what you call it, a practicing joke, no?
No.
No?
No.
Most naturally, Belgrade immediately informed us that your banknotes were, of course, of perfect order.
Of course, yes.
How those silly train guards could ever have mistaken them for counterfeit is beyond me.
Me too.
I offer you on behalf of People's Democracy of Yugoslavia my apology.
Oh, don't worry so much, old man. Everything's in clover. Let's just get away from the cabbage soup and have ourselves a spot of real dinner, shall we?
Ah, you are a man of spirit, Mr. Lime. Follow me.
Don't let anybody tell you they're starving in Europe. You just got to know where to go. Me, I went to what used to be the Royal Suite at the best hotel in town and had myself a ball with the chief of police and one or two of the local celebrities. The female celebrities, that is.
Oh, Harry, you are the limit. I want more champagne.
Waiter, another bottle of champagne for everybody.
Harry, give him a little kiss, Nina. Oh, Harry!
Yeah, you see? That's how to handle those Europeans. Treat them right, I always say, and they'll treat you right. And so goodbye to gay little Yugoslavia. So, here we are again, back on the Orient Express with Mr. Stathopoulos' $10,000 to finance the trip. What's more, in place of Mr. Stathopoulos' family reminiscences and fried fish, we are now sharing a compartment with a fine-looking chick, pickled in bandy by Piguet and stacked like a proud frigate. She's the classic lady of mystery. She's even wearing a veil, but not so much of it that you can't appreciate what lies behind. I am just figuring a way to get through the camouflage when she gets the first word in ahead of me.
Monsieur?
Yes, madame?
I wonder if you could perhaps have the goodness to help me down with the bag.
Oh, it's a pleasure, madame. The big one on the rack?
If you do not mind, monsieur. It is rather heavy.
For a lady, nothing is too heavy. She'd been exaggerating where girls were. It wasn't heavy at all. In fact, it hardly weighed more than my own little bag that didn't contain anything except $50,000 and a toothbrush. I don't think that I took my eyes off the little bag for one moment, even while helping my new lady friend down with her outsized bag. Harry may be gallant with the ladies, but Harry don't have much trouble keeping the hair out of his eyes.
Oh, isn't that silly, but I'm always so frightened of tunnels. Oh, like a woman.
Well, someone knocked off an American consul in one of these tunnels a few weeks ago, but if you aren't in the diplomatic service, I don't think you have to worry about anything more serious than what pretty girls usually have to worry about. And there's always me to protect your virtue. My name's Harry Lime, by the way.
Olga Ragoshin.
Miss or Mrs.?
Me.
How nice. And you're going all the way to Belgrade?
All the way and a little beyond.
Now, isn't it strange how that makes the whole journey immediately worthwhile? Let's drink to a most pleasant trip. I have here a little bottle of something rather special that was presented to me by the local chief of police. Recognition of a little job I did for him.
A job?
Don't worry, nothing political.
Oh, I see.
Keep your nose clean. That's my idea of insurance. Shall we have that little drink now?
Oh, but why not?
Excuse me, please. Is there a seat here?
No.
But yes.
Oh.
Well, once you're in, I guess you better sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Not there. That's my bag.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, as long as the lady and I were alone in the compartment, I didn't mind this coy habit of the Orient Express of keeping its passengers in the dark while racing through chains of tunnels. But now that we had company, I began to feel a bit bashful about it, and with good reason. For when we got out of the tunnel, my little bag had gone. No, I didn't raise the alarm. I didn't pull the emergency cord either, not yet anyway. I just looked at my two fellow travelers and thought things over. What worried me was not so much who'd taken the bag, but how they'd gotten rid of it. The window was closed, the door was shut, the baggage rack was in plain sight, and neither the girl nor the man could possibly have hidden it on its person. And then what, under the seat? I dropped a coin, started looking for it. What did I find? A coin, of course. No bag.
Monsieur.
Oh, call me Harry, please.
All right, Harry. The tunnel, it is made the air rather bad, it is not?
Yes.
Perhaps you could open the window a bit.
Perhaps. You know, these windows stick as a rule. It takes about 3 strong men and 1 derrick to raise them.
Perhaps the other gentleman could help.
No.
No?
I regret, but I am blind.
Oh.
Well, that seemed to rule out the man. So while I went through the motions of trying to open the window, I watched the reflection of my girlfriend in the glass. As I was saying, you've got to be patient in my line of business. Even if it makes you look like a fool spending half an hour trying to get a train window open, but in the end, I was rewarded. Yeah.
And how Harry Lime was rewarded, we'll find out following the bottom of the hour break. From February 22nd, 1952, Orson Welles and the Lives of Harry Lime. As I said, the conclusion follows these important messages here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Classic Radio Theater family, you know our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by just creating the best pillow. He created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me because, you know, I'm working like 67 hours a day. Now, Mike's offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets ever. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. You'll never want to sleep on anything else once you slept on a set of Giza Dream sheets. A special offer for you right now. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. Call 1-800-928-4715. Use the promo code Wyatt. Or go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Wyatt. It's good on anything on the website. That number again, 1-800-928-4715. Use my promo code Wyatt. All right, you've been patient long enough. Now the conclusion of the Lives of Harry Lime here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. It's in the bag, February 22nd, 1952.
It was the big bag, of course. My little bag was in the big one. Very cute. I opened the window. All I had to do now when we got out of the tunnel was to grab the big bag and get my money back. If the girl didn't carry a rod, that shouldn't be too tough. Anyway, that's what I thought. But when we did come out into daylight again, it turned out that old Harry had been outsmarted for the second time. Now the big bag had disappeared. How? I'll give you one guess. Through the window that I had so obligingly opened for Olga. So what now? Well, the old emergency cord, of course.
I say, what happened?
An American. He fell from the train.
He jumped. He's running away now.
Well, how will I know? He's an American, that's why.
The train guards, they are after him. They will catch him.
Yes, they will catch him. That was just about what I figured myself. Those Yugoslavs knew their tunnels. I was way ahead of them, but they were closing in on me. Anyway, somebody was closing in. As I was running and stumbling through that tunnel, a nasty thought occurred to me. Maybe it was the blind man, after all, who tossed out the bag. If so, he'd have all the advantage over me in the dark. And at that moment, I stumbled over something and fell.
What I'd fallen over wasn't the bag, and what my fingers touched wasn't money, but a face. A man's face. I couldn't see who it was. There wasn't time to strike a match. The train guards were right behind me, and I had to run, but I didn't run far, for suddenly I had it all figured out. The Greek must have sent the dame with the trick bag after me to get back his dough. She had an accomplice placed in the tunnel to pick up the bag. The whole thing was timed perfectly. A bit too perfectly. Because when Olga tossed out the bag, it hit her accomplice on the noodle and knocked him cold. So why was I running? You tell me. Or, as my mother used to say, Harry, there's nothing like the force of habit.
Hey there! Mr. Lime! Hello, Mr. Lime!
So help me, it was my old chum, the police chief.
Mr. Lime, are you there?
Here!
We got you, Mr. Lime. Come on back!
What can you do when you get that sort of reception? You gotta be polite. So you go back like a good boy.
Mr. Lime.
On behalf of the Yugoslav People's Democracy,
Yes?
I extend my most profound appreciation and gratitude for
That's
this
all right.
astounding exhibition of quick action and bravery.
What's that?
Why, it must have taken an enormous strength to knock out a man as powerful and dangerous as Leonov.
Leonov? You mean you know him?
Know him? Why, Mr. Lime, he is our public enemy number one. Everybody knows him.
Just one thing. I wonder if any of your men have happened to stumble over a suitcase.
Indeed we have. A large suitcase with a fortune of money inside.
Oh, thank heaven for that.
Yes, we are very, very lucky.
The money was in a smaller suitcase, crammed into the big one, wasn't it? You know, that suitcase is...
Strange you knew about the suitcase.
Know about it? Why, that suitcase...
Marvelous, absolutely marvelous. You are to be doubly congratulated.
No, thanks. Now, about that suitcase...
Not only have you overwhelmed one of the worst enemies of Yugoslavian
Well, I didn't exactly overwhelm him. You see, that suitcase...
Exactly. It was the property of his sister.
His sister?
A dangerous woman, sir, and another agent, of course.
Oh, I see.
It is indeed fortunate that we have managed to intercept that money. It was intended, naturally, for the financing of more sabotage.
Now, just a minute. Let me tell you about that money,
No need at all, sir. No need at all. We understand everything. And the money has, of course, been confiscated by the proper authorities.
Confiscated?
Your part in this aspect of the affair will also be mentioned in the citation.
What citation? That suitcase.
Sir, you are going to receive as your reward for this glorious...
Yes. What will I receive?
The highest decoration of the People's Democracy of Yugoslavia can bestow.
A medal? Who wants a medal? I tell you that money is mine.
I beg your pardon?
Well, you heard me. I said the money is mine.
Sir, that's a very mercenary attitude.
I don't...
Forgive me for saying
I don't care. I want my money. I don't care whether...
You would be very mistaken to try to set yourself against the will of the people's government. Others have tried, and, well, take a piece of friendly advice, sir.
Yes?
It's what I'd do in your place. Besides, there really isn't any alternative.
Well, what's the pitch?
Settle for the medal.
And now, Harry Lime.
Well, kiddies, I suppose there's some sort of a moral to this little tale of mine. I don't quite know what it is. If you want a medal, you might try riding on the Orient Express. But if you want to get rich, don't speak to strange gentlemen on the train.
No, don't. It could be a very expensive lesson. From February 22nd, 1952, Orson Welles' The Lives of Harry Lime on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, it is part 3 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Bennett Matter, a truly hot story, considering arson is involved. This episode originally broadcast February 22nd, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Andrew Cord, Johnny.
How's it going, Andy?
All the police have been talking to that arsonist, George Foley, all night long. He won't admit a thing. Won't talk about anything. They're wondering now how long they can hold him.
He's the man who fired that building, Andy.
Well, we've got to have something more for the district attorney, Johnny. We haven't tied Foley to Bennett at all. If we can definitely charge him with firing that building, then we'll have a lever to go after Bennett.
I got an idea.
What?
Meet you in an hour.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the 4-State Fire Insurance Corporation, 4065 Spear Boulevard, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Bennett arson matter. Expense account item 6, $1, 2 drinks. Andrew Cord and myself in Cookie's Place, a half a block from San Francisco's Hall of Justice. Andy's a good insurance man, thorough.
Well, it's pretty certain they'll have to release Foley unless he admits something, or we can find more evidence against him.
How about Bennett?
Still no word. Johnny, you can see what we're up against.
Yeah. Want one?
thanks, Johnny. Let's pull out.
Listen, we had this case tied into Tony Midas until he turned up dead. A vengeance motive against Bennett for sending him to prison 5 years ago.
Yeah?
All right. Now we know it wasn't Midas, and we're sure it's this George Foley. At least according to Bill Underwood, and Bill certainly knows the arson racket.
Yeah, no man better.
All right, then. Who shot Bennett?
Oh, I don't know, Johnny, but that's not our worry at the moment.
Andy, think. It might have been Foley. It couldn't have been Midas. But there is someone else.
You mean Bennett's niece?
Sure, his niece. She had a reason because of what Bennett did to Midas, who was her husband. And she's got a reason to help us.
Yeah? Nobody can find her. Nobody knows where she is.
They'll find her. And I want to make a deal.
What?
Sure. If I find her, I'll ask her what information she can give us about Bennett and Foley. Possibly she has something. She said she did once. Now, look, if she shot her uncle, she'll have to stand for assault and attempt to kill. Can we give her legal help in her case?
Johnny, I don't know.
I want to know if I can promise her that if I see her. Can I?
Well, you can tell her that we'll do what we can, the very best that we can.
Okay, good. Want another drink?
No, thanks, Johnny.
All right, I'll try and get in touch with Elizabeth Bennett.
How? The police haven't gotten anywhere.
Oh, I've been here 2 days, and I got friends all over this town. Expense account item 7, $1.05, cab fare. From the Hall of Justice to the apartment house of Marty Engel, lawyer, philosopher, and egg poacher.
Again?
Yeah. You better close that door and lock it, Mr. Engel.
It's awful late for this. Are you drunk?
Nope.
Locked. Now what?
You asked me if I ever found Tony Midas to tell you about it. We found him, Mr. Engel. He's dead.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And he didn't do any of the things we thought he might have done. I'm here to find out what you might have done.
How did he die?
Tuberculosis. He's had it for 2 years. Didn't know.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know about it.
I don't know how to figure you, Engel. I haven't been able to ever since I met you. Doesn't make any difference what I think of you, but it does make a difference how you answer one question. A lot of difference to you.
What is it?
Did you help Arnold Bennett frame Tony Midas and send him up to San Quentin?
You say Tony is dead. Now, what difference?
Did you help Bennett frame him?
No, I told you I defended Tony Midas in court. I tried my best to get him off. That's the truth.
You're sure of that?
I'm an honest man, if not a successful one. I told you the truth.
All right, then, if that's the truth, you're not in any trouble and you can unlock that door. But if it's not the truth, you might get yourself killed.
Why do you say that?
Because somebody took a shot at Arnold Bennett last night. But he was lucky. It didn't kill him, but it came pretty near. You know who that somebody was?
Elizabeth?
That's a good guess. She hasn't got anything to lose now. She lost her husband. She might be out getting even for him if he was framed. And she thinks you helped frame him.
I tell you, I didn't frame him. I defended him. I think Bennett stacked everything against him. I told you that once. I think Midas was an innocent man, but there was nothing I could do.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Shh. Who are you expecting?
No one.
Ask who it is. Go ahead, ask who it is.
Who is it?
Elizabeth Bennett, Mr. Engel.
Tell her just a minute.
Just a minute, Elizabeth.
Okay, over there. Go on, get down fast.
All right.
No, you don't!
Engel, call the police. Hold it, Elizabeth, hold it up. Are you hurt? Are you hurt?
No, I'm all right. Did I kill him? Did I kill him?
Oh, Elizabeth, you didn't kill him.
Well, he ought to be dead.
You don't know what you're talking about. He didn't have anything to do with framing Tony. He just told me.
Then he was lying. He should be dead. He and my uncle.
None of this will bring Tony back to you. Come on now, come on. Let's get back.
How many tramps have you met in your life, Mr. Dollar?
A few. Come on, come on.
When you met my Uncle Arnold, you met a real one. He stole money from himself and made it look like Tony did it. And that one in there helped him. Why didn't you let me kill him?
You're wrong about Engel. He didn't help your uncle. He tried to help Tony, honestly.
Well, then I'm glad I didn't kill him. How's my uncle?
He's getting better.
Will he go to prison?
We have to prove he hired somebody to fire the office building.
He hired George Foley. I know that.
Would you swear to
Yes.
it? Can you?
Yes. He blamed it on Tony. When I went over to see Tony last month in the prison hospital, he was dying. Oh, I knew it. He had that look in his eyes. Helpless. And he knew what my uncle had done to him, and he couldn't do anything about it.
But you figured you could. You shot your uncle when you found out Tony was dead. And you came here to kill Engel.
I thought he helped Uncle Arnold send Tony to prison. I thought he helped kill Tony. They did kill him, you know, when they sent him to prison. They killed him as surely as if they'd shot him down. 5 years I waited for Tony to get out of that awful place. I waited to hold him in my arms and tell him it was all over. 5 years I waited to help him forget his hate and my hate. Loving him so much every day that... Now he's dead. What can you or I or anybody do about what they've done to Tony? Look at me, Mr. Dollar. I'm not what you'd call beautiful. I'm not even pretty. Nobody ever looked at me twice until Tony. He looked at me and he loved me. And now he's dead. And I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside, and I'll be glad when I'm dead outside.
Shooting in this neighborhood?
Wait a minute, officer.
What's that?
No one's hurt. Come on, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Bennett made a statement down at the Hall of Justice admitting she fired a shot at Arnold Bennett, hoping to kill him. She also admitted the assault on the lawyer, Marty Engel. Charges were immediately filed, and she was held in the women's section of the city jail. In a separate statement, she told how she had seen Arnold Bennett meet George Foley in a downtown bar. Foley still maintained that he had nothing to do with the fire in the Bennett building and denied any connection with Arnold Bennett. I gave Elizabeth Bennett's statement to Andy Cord, and he took it to the assistant district attorney. I was still in the Hall of Justice when Marty Engel came in.
Dollar?
Oh, hello, Mr. Engel.
How is Elizabeth?
They're holding her.
I'm not going to press any charges.
Well, that's pretty decent of you, Mr. Engel.
She's a pretty unhappy girl. I'd like to help her.
Her uncle will probably press charges against her.
I'd like to defend her.
What?
She needs a lawyer. I didn't do very well for her husband. Maybe I can do better for her.
I hope so.
Funny world, isn't it?
Not tonight, it isn't.
No, I guess not. Yeah. Well, I'll see you, Mr. Dollar.
Right.
Johnny?
Oh, Andy, hi.
Well, kid, you ought to pat yourself on the back. They're going to go ahead against George Foley for the arson job.
Enough for them now, huh?
That's a pretty good case against him, whether he opens up and talks or not.
A statement from him would still be better.
Always. But he's been around, Johnny. He hasn't given anybody the time of day yet.
Yeah.
Oh, about Elizabeth Bennett. I can arrange counsel for her.
She's already got a lawyer, Andy.
Okay, then we'll pay his fee.
He doesn't want any fee.
What's the matter, kid?
Boy, maybe all this has been a little too much. Hey, what time is it?
10:15.
There's a plane out at midnight. If you don't need me anymore, I think I'll be getting back to Hartford.
Sure, Johnny. Sure, I'll look after things here.
Expense account item 7, $49.65. Hotel and meals in San Francisco. Item 8, same as item 3, transportation back to Hartford. I caught the midnight plane and was in Hartford at 2 o'clock the next afternoon. I went directly to my apartment and went to bed. I was awakened the following morning about 7 o'clock. What the... Johnny Dollar.
San Francisco calling, Mr. Dollar.
Okay.
Is this Mr. Dollar?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Andrew Cord is calling. One moment, please. Go ahead, please.
Johnny?
Hi.
Can you come back to San Francisco right away?
Can I... Well, I just got home.
And we need you again. Jake Eggleston is going to defend Foley in court.
Eggleston?
He's already got him out on a writ.
What?
This case is worth $500,000 to us, Johnny. If anything happens that Foley gets off, we won't have a chance to get Bennett.
You sound scared.
I am. Somehow, Bennett's holding the best cards again.
We got a good case against Foley. Once that's settled, we can get Bennett.
I want to make sure.
Okay, I'll get the first plane.
Thanks, Johnny.
Even as I hung up the phone, I was thinking of Marty Engel's words. You'll never get Arnold Bennett. He's too good for you, Dollar. Too good for your insurance company, your fire investigators, everybody. No stronger man ever lived, he said. And somebody had to prove Engel was wrong.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a fight against a strong man and one of the cleverest lawyers in the country. Join us in court. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
Sounds like my life in the radio business. February 22nd, 1956. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Hope you'll take a moment and visit my webpage, classicradio.stream. That's where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting. You can even contact me there, classicradio.stream. Don't forget that if you miss a day on this station, you do not have to miss a single show. You can hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Amazon Radio, and Audible, among other places. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's why I share that, because if you don't do that, you're going to get lots of other podcasts. But you want this one, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this radio station, support the advertisers, and as always, tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial, Classic Radio Theater, on your favorite radio station.